And this gentleman here is Africa and Asia and the South Americas, and I'm the ship, and I can circumnavigate either east or west and go around the Earth on a flat bath-type Earth, no problem at all. Finish. What I've never done in human history is gone over your head at the North Pole and gone under his feet at the North Pole, at the South Pole. We've never done that. We've never.
Right. Okay. Can I?
No. Hold on. Skirting around the side of this gentleman or one side of him isn't the issue. I don't have an issue with there being structure over here. We've never gone under the south and come out the other side at 180 degrees from that. Yeah, go on.
Right. Ranulph Fiennes. You know who Ranulph Fiennes is?
He never made it. I was on the ship that went. Jeez, man. I was on that ship in London. You know what? Ranulph Fiennes' ship came to London. Thames.
What year was that?
About 3 or 4 years ago. And yes.
1977.
Oh yeah, but he never went. Listen, he skirted along the side. No, hold on. He skirted along the side. I was on. Listen, he's never done that. No one has ever. They've gone along the side, skirted along the edge, but they've never gone.
Was the first person to do
Well, anyway, there you go. Well, we disagree. Okay, that's fine. We disagree. That's not one. That's not one because, as I said, he hasn't actually gone out one end and come out the other. That's right.
That is what.
Yeah.
So say the Earth's flat, whatever, that's great.
And you're the center of the universe. Yeah, you're the center of the universe. Yeah. Yes. Why has it got to be an edge? Is that because water would spill off? Do you think water would spill off if there wasn't an edge? Answer my question. You say there's an edge. You don't think water would spill off?
I don't think it's flat.
But you say there's an edge because Why doesn't the water fall off the globe? Gravity has never been proven. It's only a theory. So you base, Gravity? No, that's density. That's density. So who lifted it up? Who lifted it up to this point? Who lifted it up?
She's got an interesting question.
This is fine and everything, but you still haven't answered my question.
Why have we never reached the edge as well?
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. If you let me answer the question. All right. Well, as far as we know, that if it is a flat Earth, there probably is some kind of edge, or perhaps it's an infinite thing. But I have no problem with either of those. If it's infinite, I would say to a ball believer that you used to believe that space went on infinitely. So why not water could go on infinitely? But we all know that water tends to be better contained within an edge, within a tub, within a pond, within a lake, within a whatever. And so I say that there is possibly some containment.
Okay.
But I don't need to. The burden of proof is not on me. The burden of proof. No, literally, darling. You know what? Water. No, because you're being condescending. Because water is always flat. You know, when your swimming pool is flat, yeah, your lake is flat. Because of perspective. Those people walking down over there are going to get smaller and smaller until eventually they disappear into the horizon. You understand that as perspective? Do you understand perspective, sir? You understand perspective?
Don't disappear.
What? Pardon me?
Disappear from either the bottom.
Again, because of perspective, the height of the viewer, as we were saying earlier on, the height of the viewer, no, but the height of the ship has got different heights on it. Let's not be stupid. So that's why they put the crow's nest at the top of the ship, because he can see furthest. That's why they put the lighthouse light at the top of the lighthouse, because it can see furthest. Because obviously the thing that is tallest will be seen last. If I go back up the mountain, I will see the ship for another half hour going into the distance. That's because you're not a very smart man, clearly. Now, let me tell you, let me tell you that the longest lake in the world that freezes over every year is Lake Billikal, and it's 300 miles long. It freezes over and it is provably flat. The Suez Canal is 100 kilometers long and is provably flat. Today we do experiments. He doesn't like the Bedford level experiments, but today we do experiments with lasers over 30 and 40 miles, and we can find that from one beach to the other. Obviously, your common sense also already knows this, that from one beach to the other, the water is flat. There is no bulge of water in between those distances. Now, Pythagorean math says that there should be perhaps 300, 400, 300. No, but if you live on a ball, darling, there is got to be curvature. There has to be some bending of water, right?
Right. So the whole point of liquid, when you discuss states, the idea of liquid is that it adapts to whatever it's currently in, and it will have a
The containment.
That's fine.
Yes, the container. Now, there's no container on Earth, is there?
That works the same. If you have a ball
There's
and
no-
you
yeah.
put water onto the ball,
And
it
it-
clings to the sides.
What?
That's how it works.
What? It'll run straight off. A little bit may stay with tension, a little bit may stay and keep the ball wet. So you're saying that our oceans are really... Oh, I see. But you can't... Okay, so if I was to take a massive ball, let's say like a 10-foot ball, right? Are you going to see more water clinging to the outside?
Yes.
You're living in Disneyland. Oh my God.
Oh,
Oh my God. So let's just say I take 100 liters of water and I pour it on the ball. Now 99 liters and 99.5 liters are going to end up on the floor. They're going to end up on the floor. Now these people are saying that if that the small ball has a little dampness to it, that proves that if you take a huge ball, you're going to get more dampness. Well, you don't agree, and I don't agree with you. So most of the water will go to the floor. Most of the water will fall on the floor, and if you don't have a bathtub for it, it'll go and spill itself until it's gone
But
thin.
that's because it's so small that gravity doesn't get
Let me
to
ask
take
the question on the boat.
Gravity again is a theory.
Let me ask
Majid.
this question.
It's not real.
This boat goes out from the harbour,
Yes,
goes
yes.
to the horizon,
Yes.
and it gets smaller.
Yeah.
Those people over there are smaller than us.
Yes. Yes, they look smaller, but we know they're the same size as us, don't we?
Well, why do they look smaller?
Because they're further away. No, yeah. So they keep going, keep following that logic, sir. Eventually the trees will eventually become so small they'll just blur into the horizon. They're not literally getting the same as the ship. It's not getting smaller, and we know that this is a flat piece of land.
Okay, so you have a
No. The tops of the trees will be seen last. The bottom of the tree will be seen. Sorry,
But then, can I finish the question? You have a laser light. A laser light is known by scientists to be absolutely straight. You set up a laser light on there,
I did this.
and imagine this is the sea.
Let's try and get people's attention. I don't know where the others.
You direct it exactly the same height from there to there to there. And the laser light punches up there. After a while, it won't take long, the laser light will be higher. Why would it be higher?
Scatter.
The laser light is
Yeah, so I'm asking you to go and look at a website called FE Core. They're doing scientific experiments with things like theodolites and lasers and so on. It's best technology as we can get our hands on. And we cannot find. Look, come on. Your common sense tells you that when you go to a beach, say I've been to Spain and looked over at Morocco, I can see the beach on Morocco on a clear day. On a clear day, I can see France and we can see Ireland from England. And these things should have humps hundreds of meters high of water. But now let me come back to your ship. So think about it like this. If you're saying that the ship is descending, as you're saying, and it's the mast that you see last, you're inferring that the water is going down. Am I right? You're saying that, right? So that means that the port that I'm heading to from here is below me. Is that right? But they're now going to be going down a little bit. Oh, wow. This is where your head gets fucked up. There's no such thing as up and down. Listen, this is up and this is down. If I lift up my phone, it will drop down. But before your grandfather would have, before gravity.
What is your explanation? If you don't believe in gravity, what is your
I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky, and I don't believe in gravity or relativity. These are theories given to us by men that I don't trust anymore. Of course it's a theory. What do you call it, a law? People come here with the idea of being a law. Theory. So even though we say that the theory of gravity says that water will curve and I can walk on the underside of the ball and not know that, you say that part of it doesn't matter. I say that the theory, that the fact that gravity means that something's going to fall to the floor does not then allow you the license to make water bend and to make things float
Can I
on
just make a
everything.
point? So when everyone says about how gravity is a theory and it hasn't been proven, what they actually mean is the way that we work out gravity hasn't been proven. That's the theory side of it. The fact that gravity
I need to tell you about the week I've had. I've had the most incredible fucking week. I can't tell you. At the beginning of the week, I didn't know I was going to pay the rent. I really didn't. And I was already 5 days late with a 10-day extension. Anyway, my friends, I was just having a little moment with myself because it is hard. I know I must seem like really dumb to you guys, you know, but the thing is that I know that water doesn't curve. You guys are having to kind of bend your minds around curving water, and it doesn't exist. And you know what? The thing is that when I was an atheist, I believed in a Big Bang given to me by the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah.
On your map,
Because of our science and technology, you can use that.
on your flat Earth,
Some people think, just like the gentleman said, some people think that because I have a phone, I'm cleverer than my father's.
on your flat Earth,
Our flat Earth. It's our flat Earth, brother. We're all brothers on the same Earth. I love it. I love it.
you have got a picture of the sun circling.
Let's get rid of the ball before we start looking at the details of this flat Earth model, because I don't know. The thing is, I can't answer these questions. You know, there's only certain limitations. Did you know about the Antarctic Treaty prevents us from going below the 60 parallel?
No, it doesn't. My brother-in-law.
Other than on organised tours, yes.
No, my brother-in-law has skied across Antarctica.
Oh wow. Maybe on like a shelf, yeah. Maybe on a shelf.
Skied across across.
Can you
Antarctica.
say the link to that evidence so we can go and look it up?
He's called Bob Maxwell.
Bob Maxwell. Robert Maxwell.
This is my son, by the way. It's his uncle. He skied across Antarctica.
Across, yeah. Now when you say, do you mean, so we can be clear, that you mean that he went from one side of the ball through the South Pole and out 180 degrees from the other side? Is that what you mean? Or do you mean that he skirted along the Scott ice shelf or something like that?
He skied across.
Okay.
Across the pole.
Yeah. Across the North Pole and came out the other side. And how do we evidence this, my friend?
I've just asked.
No, you give me a name, but he must have a website. He must be a very famous man.
I just told you. He's not famous. No, he's not famous because there's loads of people that have done it. He is just, my brother is an explorer.
This is the North Pole, yeah? The South Pole. Mhm.
He's just returned from climbing
Okay.
Everest.
Well, I'll go and look into that. I'll go and look into that.
He's climbed the 7 highest mountains in the
wow.
world. He, in 2016 and 2017, he skied across Antarctica. Now, on your exactly. Now,
Well, I could, that's no. Photographic evidence is not. I could have photographic evidence of ice and miles of ice. That's not evidence.
no, but hang on.
You need something more than that,
So
don't you?
okay,
Really?
What more would you like to prove that he's done it?
Well, I think you'd have to have evidence of him arriving in one port at one side and then him coming out at the other side.
We've got that.
Okay. So what port? Where did he came? No, I just told you. Oh, no, that would be good. Like if he had like a satellite or GPS coordinates. Good. Okay, I'll go and look into it. I'll look into it.
It cost him a fortune. It cost him about nearly £300,000. You know, he had to have supplies dropped for him by the US Air Force
Okay.
at various places across.
Okay. Well done.
But no,
Well done. Oh, you got some questions? Have you? Okay. You've had your turn. Now about you. You must have questions after last week.
Well, actually, he did bring up something about the model of the flat Earth, which you said you're not going to answer.
Yeah.
I'm confused why you're not going to answer it.
Well, you know why? Because what I do is I get boys who are just, crying about the fact that I'm rubbishing their ball belief, going at me and saying, "Oh, but this doesn't work, and how does that work, and how does this work?" Well, I'm not claiming, supreme knowledge of how this system works. I'm saying that my common sense now tells me that Earth is not moving. The science proves that Earth is not moving. My common sense that water has always been shown to be level and flat, but level, and what point? I no longer give my common sense to the religious leaders of scientism who say that after a certain size with certain maths, then you will think things are going to bend. But you can't show me bending water. You can't show me science that shows that the Earth is spinning.
I've already asked you to go and look at the population.
So let's get that out of the way first. I know what you've asked me to do, sir, but I can't tell you that.
I've told you to go and look at the
I've looked at Pontchartrain. That's why I know about it, and that's a classic example of perspective. It's getting smaller, just like those people. It's getting smaller and smaller. It appears to curve. I understand that.
Tell us how we get there now.
So you think that there's there's a body of water, can you measure that curvature? Again, well then bring me the measurement, please. I have a website, I have a YouTube channel. Hit me up. It's called Trinity 4, right? Trinity 4. Now check it out. Please send me that information on how you measure curvature, because boys, you cannot measure curvature on this earth.
He's offering evidence. Tell us how you get day and night.
Measurable. No. Let me be clear and blunt with you, my friend. I am not accepting perspective as evidence. Just because you think you see something and they've gone in science class. Hold on. I'm telling you that the obvious, because this is the obvious answer. Perspective means that things, the further they are, the smaller they get. You throw in all this height and the weather and all this shit. Yes, so fine. But actually, if I'm on the ground, then things, the further they are, get smaller. And that's all we're talking about. So then when your science teacher said, that's your evidence, now go away and be a clever boy, that's your evidence that the earth is curving. I'm saying you can't measure it.
But what's your evidence that it is perspective and not curvature?
Well, because I can take, I'll give you an example of a train line, right, where I see the poles getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I can walk for 10 miles down those poles, and hell, those poles just getting to be the same size every time I get to them, right? But I know that the further I look down, the smaller and smaller and smaller, and eventually I can't see the tracks and I can't see the poles. Why? They've all merged into the thing. But the last thing, the first thing that goes to the track, the last thing that goes to the top of the poles. Oh my God, you want the ship to be the last to go, but not when it's on land. No, it's the same on water. And you know what? If the ship was going on water that was curving down, it would never come back up. Ships do not go uphill. Water has to. Listen, didn't you play with gravity? So let me. Have you ever thought about this then? Right? Think about this, because I never thought about this. But if gravity is pulling my ship while it's on the top of the ball, right? Yeah. So it's hot. So it's pulling it to the center of the earth. Because I'm at the bottom of the ball now.
Because there is no bottom.
There is no bottom. Yeah, it's all flat. You've answered the question. It's all flat. It's all flat. There is no bottom. So the ship's either the ship is going down under or it's staying on the flat. You can't have it both ways, my friends. You can't have it both ways. Earth is flat. Earth is flat. Look into it. You've got to research this yourself.
You have said that England is okay. In your version of our model,
yeah.
You have got England at the top of the ball and Australia at the top of the ball.
Okay, at the bottom. At the bottom. Well, I mean, all the globes are sort of set up like that, yeah?
Exactly.
Aren't they?
The globes are set up.
Yeah.
Like that. The globe that's only set up like that is because some of the earliest map makers were British, and some of the So
you're saying Australia might be on the top? Is that what you're saying?
Could absolutely be on the top.
God.
It depends on your perspective.
Wow.
It depends on the view in which you're taking.
Our compass is point north, but you can make a compass at point south.
Yeah, there is no.
There
is an axis. There is, yes, there is, but because the globe sits in space.
Yeah.
The space, therefore, there is no reference point in space in which to position the world with England at the top and Australia. So it could quite happily be the opposite way around.
Okay, hold your hands like that. Hold your hands like that, if you may. Now, there's footage of Earth from space, and it looks like that, right? Now, can you imagine that camera zooming in onto the Earth as you've got it there, and then going with the satellite? I'm going to go under that image that you just saw, and what I'm going to zoom in on is people and planes and things like that going sort of on the underside of that image that you showed me.
You know why that's impossible?
That's impossible because the Earth is flat.
No, it's impossible because
nothing floats in time and space.
It's not impossible because the cameras of that resolution to be able to see something as tiny as an aeroplane on the globe 25,000 miles around does not exist.
Are you one of those people who think they can see the ISS?
Yes, I've seen the ISS.
So you can see, so a minute ago you say that we don't have cameras that can resolve an aeroplane. Hold on. To the size of two airplanes.
No,
yes.
The ISS is the size of a football field.
Yes, and I can't see, in my experience and my common sense tells me that I cannot see, well, you're not allowed common sense. Well, let me, I'm trying to introduce you the world back to common sense. Let me tell you what the common sense says is that I can't see a city, a lit city, from 400 kilometers away.
From space?
No, along the Earth on a clear day, I can't see a city. But you say that you can see. See, you can't have it both ways. You know, we've got the world record photograph says that we can see at 400 kilometers, right, on a clear day. Now, because it was a clear day, and we were able to see on a clear day. The clearer the sky, the further we can see. The more rainy, the less far we can see.
Able to see Saturn and Jupiter and other planets.
How do you know they're far? How do you know you're? Yeah, go on.
If I were to take that telescope and I were to set it up on the eye of something that's the tallest?
No.
If I were to set it up there, would I also be able to see all across that same distance? Would I be able to resolve cities in Egypt because the Earth is flat?
Well, firstly, as this guy was just saying right over here, is that you need very good atmospheric conditions to be able to see any really good distance, right? So can we start with that as a premise? Is that the atmosphere has a big effect on how far you can see one day to another. Let's say on a perfect day, that even though on a perfect day, like the day that they took the world record photo at 400 kilometers, eventually you're still seeing through atmosphere, which is essentially thin water, right? So now the other point I'd like to make on this is that, sorry, I've lost my thread. Sorry, just go back to your question again.
Yeah, so I have a telescope that can see far out planets.
Okay. So now I think that part of the lie is that the telescope doesn't actually see as far as all of that. So if you were to take, say, on a very clear day where you could see easily 10 miles, 15 miles, something like that, take your telescope up onto a tall building and try and resolve a stop sign at 10 miles. Just do that. Just do that to answer your question, because I don't think that telescopes are actually that powerful. We're sold this idea that light travels forever.
I've seen the rings of Saturn.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just give you some other information on telescopes. Then is that the modern telescopes have a digital enhancement facility in them. But if we look at these, if we look at these critically, what we actually see is we see these rings, but just like a shimmering light. That's actually all we can see.
Okay, but my telescope
like a light.
isn't digital.
Okay.
It's full manual. I fucking hate it, but it works, and I can resolve the rings of Saturn just by using the lenses I have.
Okay.
So that's no digital enhancement. That's just me.
Well, I don't have a problem with you seeing those lights and they look like rings. I'm not going to argue about that, but I don't accept that. See, I don't accept that what you're seeing, all that amount of light that you're seeing, is reflecting from the sun. Because if you take a photo, when NASA sends you a photo from the Voyager of that planet, what you see is a brown thing. Now you think that brown thing of the Saturn, you think that brown thing is going to shine back that amount of light over hundreds of millions of miles?
Why do I see Saturn?
Because Saturn's about 10 or 20 miles perhaps high. It's a light in the sky.
10 miles.
I'm opening your mind to something new. Is that your telescope, I was saying earlier on, is that the telescope is only seeing 10 miles. It is only seeing 15 miles. Take it up onto a mountain. Try and see how far you can really see on a clear day. You cannot resolve the people in a hotel at 5 miles. I've tried it.
Do you know how
all right? So your everything is much, much closer. But we are...
Did you resolve it with your eyes, with binoculars, or with a telescope?
Telescope.
Try to resolve it?
Telescope. With a telescope, yeah.
Digital telescopes?
No, just an old school telescope. I'm just saying that telescopes are not as powerful as we've been told. That's why they do have these huge ones, but they're not seeing what we think the distances are. Remember that light traveling infinitely to the eye is a theory as well. You know that light. Listen, give me one example of where we can see a light 200 miles away, 300 miles away. You've already told me that we can't see things very far. So you allow on Earth, you say, oh, there's restrictions on how far we can see, but into space, that light is traveling forever. You know why? Because they told us nothing to stop in space. And if there's nothing to stop it in space and no particulate, what are your rockets pushing off?
What? Push off in space. In space, you don't have to use anything. If I push a rocket, if I'm in Earth, I push it out in the atmosphere. I just leave it. It's not forever. It's not going to stop. Unless it hits another big object.
Okay. Oh, no. It's not going to go forever. You know why? No, because apparently all of our satellites are falling around the Earth, and they're staying in orbit with that. And did you know that our Earth? Did you know this is what science will tell you, sir? And not only that, it's not only are they following the Earth by spinning around the Earth as the Earth is turning, but they're actually following the Earth as it goes around the Sun at 60,000 miles an hour.
That's absolutely true. Continue.
Yeah, absolutely true. Well, I mean, that's absolutely the science that's what we're told. But actually, we can't prove any of
Why
it.
do you believe that?
All right, gentlemen.
Well, all the other planets in the universe.
There are no other planets. There are wandering stars.
I just saw Saturn.
Yeah, it's a light, bro. It's a light. Well, let's get over it. It's a light. Go and look at it. Go and look at P900 footage and see how they can resolve with a P900. Much more powerful than your telescope.
The
Go on then.
question is, Mars, Jupiter,
Yeah.
they're all close. globes all round, aren't they?
No lights in the sky. That's all I see. A star in the sky. Yeah, just like the
So
others.
they don't exist. Except
No, of course they exist. They're there. Don't you see them at night?
where does the light come from?
Them. They're giving off light. You think that's a reflection of the sun? But when you see a photograph of that, you see a brown ball, and that's reflecting all that light. Like it's they look to your senses. You're seeing another star. The wandering stars in the sky are just stars.
No, it's not star. It's a planet.
Well, I can see a star. I see a star.
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do when Elon Musk sends humans to Mars? What are you then going to say then when the people are on Mars?
My brother, you need to stop watching TV. You need to stop watching Big Brother. You need to stop watching. You need to stop watching sport and porn and all the fucking shit you're watching. You know what? If you believe that Elon Musk has taken a rocket and put it down onto Earth like this, then you've been watching too much fucking sci-fi. No way can he do that, and no way did he put a regular car into space and it didn't blow up.
Because you have a misunderstanding of all
Yeah, Tesla is a complete. I mean, Elon Musk is a complete fraud. Get that in your head. He's a complete fraud, and he's taking people along this idea that he's some kind of wizard or whatever. He's an actor.
Falcon 9 land. Are you saying?
Sorry.
Are you saying?
Yeah.
Excuse my voice.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of people
Water level. What's wrong with this picture?
witness the Falcon 9 land on its tail on numerous occasions over the last 2-3 years. Are you telling all those people that are around?
That's CGI, bro. That's CGI. If you believe that shit, you are. Oh my God. You on, man. If you've been researching this stuff for 35 years, you've been looking in the wrong place.
No.
Go listen. Go. Elon Musk is a complete fraud.
Answer the question. How can CGI be rendered?
Oh my God. Did you not see
real world?
Sandra Bullock in Gravity?
Get a
That's a
movie.
movie!
Exactly, and that's what you're watching then. You know what Elon Musk is presenting to you is a complete movie.
In Florida,
Completely.
there are hundreds of thousands of people.
What hundreds of thousands of people are you talking about? I don't
Have you-
know. I don't know
every
about.
single launch of the Falcon
No,
9
I don't have a problem with the launch. You're talking about the
Right,
landing.
Exactly, but there were witnesses. What you got to remember?
No, the
is
landing.
launch.
No, why are you talking about the launch? I said the landing.
I'm coming
Focus
to
or
that.
no? I'm not interested in that. The launch. I've been buying into the launch all the years of the other programs. I bought into all of the other programs. We've never been to the moon. We've never been to the moon. It's completely bogus. That's why we've never been back in 50 years. NASA admit they don't have the technology to get through the Van Allen radiation belt. They don't have the technology to go back to the moon. And they don't have, yes they do. Don Petit is on record saying that. Don Petit, the astronaut. Go and look into it. You don't know the Van Allen? My God, you guys don't know shit.
It's quickly come
You need to listen. This is the teacher. I'm the teacher, sir. You're taking up too much of the class. Have you, these gentlemen here, I've got some questions. You got a question. You know the Earth is flat, right? Well, there is no water. It's always been used to level construction. Water has always been used to.
with my arguments. And that's your problem.
The argument. You don't have an argument. You have a belief system. There's no argument. Water is flat, and I've asked you to prove that it does anything other than go flat. When water is at rest, it will always find its level.
Every time
If you tip the bucket this way, it'll stay level. If you tip the bucket this way, it'll stay level. Water level. Now I'm asking you, find me water curve, and then we can talk. Everything else is your religious belief. It's religious dogma. Science is the biggest religion on earth today because Muslims believe this science, Christians believe this science, Jews, you name it, they all believe the science. Atheists love this science that was given to them by the Roman Catholic Church. Because the Big Bang is the Roman Catholics' invention. Everything coming from nothing. Look into it, sir. George Lemaitre is, my target is the truth. My target is the truth. I'm not interested in your straw man arguments because, listen, I've heard all of this stuff. I come from your mindset. I used to think that I could trust my government. You cannot trust your government. Your government created your education and you cannot trust your education. Trust your senses. You had them stolen from you when you believed in the Easter Bunny and Father Christmas.
Let me run this statement. Excuse me. If I take a stick, if you take a stick.
Fantastic! Fantastic! The Earth is flat!
Let them say the arguments. Don't just start yelling.
A straight stick and stick it in water, you will see it bent. Is the stick bent?
Yeah, there's no, but we understand that when you go, well, because you've gone from one medium to
Why
another.
do you know
because I can see that.
Why do you, is the stick bent? You see it bent.
No, but it's, that's called an optical illusion. Yeah, but you understand optical illusion, right?
It's an
you understand, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yes.
you're an illusion.
No, I'm not an illusion. I'm standing here. I'm as real as anything you've ever met.
Let's get back to.
I'm the most real human being you've ever met, sir.
Look, excuse me.
I know my place on this universe. I know my place on this universe. You do not. You guys think you are the descendants of monkeys, apparently, and your heads are so spinning. What? Because I'll tell you what's wrong with that, young man, is that this creation was created for you. That you are the center of the universe.
God and evolution not coincide. Why could God not make the Big Bang, which made the evolution?
Why?
He's creating in his image.
Yes.
But he just made us through time and gave us a scientific reason which we came from at the start.
That's like asking.
That's out of nowhere.
That's like going into a scrapyard.
They can go together. They don't have to be two separate ideas.
Bro.
Religion and science can coincide.
Do you know what the Fibonacci sequence is? Have you looked into the Fibonacci? Right, the Fibonacci sequence is such detail, and that all of nature is actually grown out of that. This is the most incredible world that we live on. What you're suggesting to me is that someone farted in a scrapyard, and what came out of that was this most amazing creation. No, I no longer believe in that shit. But you know what? 3 years ago, let me help you with this. Let me help you with this, right? Do you know what your pineal gland is?
Yes,
you do? Your pineal gland. No, listen. You don't do yourself any favor. You don't do yourself any favors by coming across stupid, right? Let me tell you shit that you should learn. Your pineal gland is in the center of your brain. Fact. Your pineal gland is filled with a liquid called DMT, dimethyltryptamine. It is in all living things. You can take dimethyltryptamine and have a near-death experience. 3 years ago, let me finish my story. Well, I don't know. Is your body full of drugs? Because I'm saying it's a. Well, this is a natural substance that's found in your body, right? I had like a near. Listen and learn, son. Listen and learn. Then shut the fuck up. I'm telling you something that you need to know, that when I had this experience. Shut up, child. I'm telling you that DMT is in your brain, and I use this. It's what the South Americans use. It's called ayahuasca, right? You can look into ayahuasca. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing, because the ayahuasca, oh my God, everything you eat and drink is a drug. Don't be so childish. I'm telling you about something that you need to learn, and that is that your pineal gland, once open, will show you that there is a creation. And when my dying mother, right, when she died in 2011, listen to me, child, listen to me, son. This is not, listen, I'm 50 years old, man. I've done acid and shrooms that blow your fucking mind. 50 years old, right? Let me tell you something, that DMT is inside of your brain, and when you open your pineal gland, you will realize that you are part of creation, and that you will see that everything actually is alive, everything is energetic.
Why do you need to trick your mind by taking the drugs to be able to see?
I didn't trick my mind. I allowed my mind to be open in a way that you've never done alcohol.
No, I've never.
You've never taken alcohol.
If God made you as His perfect sentient being, why would He take away your sight of God and the world around and the right world?
God never took it away. Man did, and that's why He created these religions. No.
Out of the C-section, what my brother was doing, the doctors went there and said, "Oh, don't inside, take some of that shit out and replaced it."
No, you're confused.
How did they change? You were born.
Yeah.
You're born with
He's perfect. MSI, what's that? DMT.
People said about DMT. How did we change it about DMT?
You know, it's not about changing anything. I didn't say anything about changing anything.
Suggesting it to
Okay, you can think of it like that, but it is about opening the mind in a way that, listen, we live in a very left brain paradigm, one that doesn't want you to open your mind in this way. The religions tell you not to open your mind, and I'm just saying to you, you asked me the question, do I believe in God? I was answering you the question that unequivocally, that I had an experience that showed me that there was a God, because up until that point I was a total atheist at the age of 47, 3 years ago. So I'm answering the question, don't be a twat, right? I'm giving you information that you need to hear. Just because we've been told by my religion and others that we should not seek to open the mind with cannabis and other sorts of plants, other sorts of things. This is what people do. That's my experience.
Is evolution
Well, that's my experience. I'm not saying that you have to believe it. You asked me whether I believe in a God. Yes, that's my experience, and that's why I do. Next. Okay. Well, that might be something to do with his state of mind. Yeah.
She was in perfect normal mental state. She was like bullied, the guy threw a stone into his head on temple lobes. But unconsciously, she woke up in temple with epilepsy. Affecting the temple lobes on her brain.
Yeah.
From that, she had visions of God and the Mother Mary, and they thought that she was the Messiah. And there's a family that basically woman who had a mental condition, a mental disorder.
Well, let me tell you that you are Christ.
What's after the edge as well?
You are Christ. You don't have to listen to another word I say, but you are Christ. You are the. You've got lots to learn, and but all of us come with that pure Christ essence. Each of us is a pure creation of God. Yes, the mother might have been fucked with in vitro. The baby might have been fucked with on the way out. No doubt. And each of us are fucked with. Our minds are fucked with through the poisoning of the food that we eat and the water we drink and all this sort of stuff. And then the education and so on. And this robs you of the true divine truth about who you are and what you really are. That's what I'm saying.
What makes besides your
There's only 3 here on the camera.
My daughter is always telling me I'm religious. No, I'm not talking about like religion in the way of God. I mean in the way of religion. No, not at all. I know that there's a creator, and actually I'm saying that we are the creator. We are the creator, and we are that creator meant to be having a divine experience, but through slavery, through religion, through you name it, they have robbed you of that true divinity. I don't know who that they are.
Why you mentioned they?
Because there is definitely a guiding hand.
Somebody in
Okay. Well, I think that they are like your controlling hand, the governments, the religious leaders, and
how do they do that?
How do they do what?
How do they rob me of my God experiences and me seeing the world as you see it?
Do you know? Have you heard of Christianity?
Yes.
Do you know that 2 billion people on Earth believe in Christianity?
Yes, I'm agnostic.
Are you? So I'm giving you very, very clear evidence how it's possible. Let me tell you the answer. How it's possible to get a lot of people believing a load of stuff that you don't believe, right? So why would they do that? Well, if you don't believe it, they must have done. No. If you don't believe that, they must be talking shit. They must be lying. They must be conning people, right? Why would they? What? So either you believe in God and Jesus died on the cross and all that, or you don't. And if you don't, then the Vatican is pushing a lie, right? As far as you're concerned, it can't be one of both.
No, I'm agnostic. So in my mind, neither is right or wrong. It's just in my
that's
mind,
a zero position.
No, it's not. In my mind, both sides have enough substantial or physical and scientific evidence on either side to hand to me.
What, Muslim or Christian? Muslim or Christian, you mean?
No. Christianity, every single religion, and the scientific side of the Big Bang, either side, to me, has enough evidence or enough physical evidence for me to believe that go to one side and stand on that side.
So now I'm offering you, and I was in exactly the same position you. I'm offering you something that you can actually test yourself.
What is it?
That water is level.
What does that mean?
How is that such a small scale?
What scale do you need it to be?
Right.
Wait. No, let me ask. This guy's got a question. I'm really interested in NASA, man.
Planet-wide scale.
No, what scale? Because I'm just saying, I already said that over 100 kilometers over the Suez Canal, we can prove that the water is level.
No, the Suez Canal, the water is going from the height of the Suez Canal down to sea level.
The Suez Canal joins 2 oceans. You don't know what you're talking about. And then one ocean on the other side. There's no locks. There's no barrier. There's no water flowing from one side. The water's perfectly level.
There is a.
No, it's not. Listen. No. Wait. So
the Panama Canal.
same. It's level.
Huh?
It's level.
Level.
Of course it's level. Of course it's level. We know that if barges go downhill on land, they'll go through level sections of stepping themselves either up
Why
or
do
down
they
the
have
land.
lock gates?
Because we're either going up or down, but that's on land. There's no lock gates on Suez.
There's no lock gates on Suez.
Correct.
Why isn't there a lock
So
gates on Suez?
because
Or
there's
why
no
is there in
level, because
Panama?
there's no change in water, and the same with Panama. There's no locks.
Wait a minute, 1 minute you're saying there is one in the other and the other one.
No, neither of them have a lock. I'm talking about barges on land. They have locks to change the water level from the hills, up in the hills down to the sea level, absolutely. But there's no lock on those Suez Canal and Panama Canal. No lock. Why? Because the water is the same level from one side to the other. I know it's hard to hear. So I'm saying to you, I'm coming back to you, Mr. Nasser, and saying if there's no lock at 100 kilometers because the water is level, and it's provably level, then at what point do you have to start bending your water?
That is that's a lie. The lock gates of the Panama Canal.
I hope you ball boys are coming in.
Level and flat are not the same. We've already demonstrated that.
The lock gates of the
I'm
Panama
saying that they're
Canal
both
are made
level and
of
flat.
green hard wood, very hard.
You can
And that's
prove
why
it
they have
you
lock
can't prove it
gates.
flat.
Okay. So what's your issue? If let's just say that they're level, right? So at one side of the Suez to 100 kilometers on the other side, it's level. Level, meaning it's not curving. Meaning that it's not curving. Please go and research
That
this.
doesn't mean it's not curving. That just means that
So level is not curving. So when we say water level, we're not meaning flat and straight. We're not meaning straight. We're meaning something with a bend in it. Really? So if spirit level has got a bend in it, this is level. See, this is what happens when you leave, when you lose your senses. This is what you realize. Oh my God. So where do you measure that bend? Where do you measure that curve? No. I mean, from if this is the top point, and you come down to here, how do I measure that amount of curvature? You don't? No, none of us knows. Oh, now you're 17. Listen, you're clever enough to answer all these questions. No, I tell you what, there is no curvature to be measured, and your dad won't be able to find it. As hard as you want to look. There's no curvature to be measured, and we don't buy into the Metabunk Mick West bullshit version of thing.
I could take a picture of the sun
Yeah.
and show how high it was off the ground.
Yeah.
And I have friends back in Canada who
Yeah.
are just waking up. They'll be a little bit pissed.
Yeah.
But I can tell them to take a picture of the sun.
Yeah.
They can see that they're at different heights in the sky.
Okay.
So that wouldn't be able to work in a flat Earth system.
Well, no, you're making certain assumptions about how the lights work, and I think I said this to you before. I don't really want to get in. I love these debates, and I have these discussions with people who've already woken up. But until you wake up, no, I understand why that might be hard for you to think. But why don't you stay with? You can't move. You can't show the Earth to be spinning. You can't measure it, and you can't measure the water to be curving. Then we can get into, once you realize you've been lied to, and water is always level. Then you can get into how does the sun and moon work.
Argument for everything. When we put up to you other issues,
Other words, but I'm looking for evidence, my brother.
Okay.
Where's your evidence of curving water, or where's your evidence that the Earth is spinning? Because I gave you the 100-mile test. I can show you 100 miles. I can show you us shooting weapons over 100 miles. Okay, so listen. The lady here earlier on said, "Oh, we know that that water will conform to a ball because if I threw water on a ball, it'll be wet." Right? That was her great answer on that, right? And that's complete bollocks, right? Right. Now, so now listen to me. Here's the thing: is that we can scale. When we talk about scaling things up, she was saying, "Oh, if I scale my ball up, eventually it'll be enough water." Well, no bollocks. You scale up a swimming pool that's level. Scale up a lake that's measurably level from one side to the other, over Lake Michigan we can measure that it's level for 50 miles, and over these canals, No, let me just bring you back to the Suez. Okay, the Suez Canal is 100 kilometers long, right? So my evidence for you that water always stays level is already at 100 kilometers. You haven't got me a single piece of evidence other than this girl's ball that's wet, a wet ball.
No one. I haven't.
I'm nearly out of.
Agree with that girl's.
To prove that the Earth is spinning,
gravity, the poles.
They have demonstrations you can do on Earth to show. No, don't.
I think we're running out. I think we're running out of memory on my phone. I'm going to have to go anyway. So thanks for watching. That's been fun. Cheers, guys.
You can